How's it going, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome back to another Locals feature match. Here we are in round 3 of the March 21st Locals. Actually just went to Locals yesterday, and I'll have those feature matches going up as soon as round 4 is up from this past week. So, we have me playing on the left, playing Earth Machine, which has been my main deck at the moment, versus Dragon Link on the right, and getting started with the Chaos Space. So you can all probably pretty much guess as to what is going to unfold here in Game 1. Dragon Link wins the dice roll. Yeah, we're probably going to see a pretty long combo here, so long as he didn't brick, which the deck is pretty consistent, so that really doesn't happen too much. So we're going to see the Striker Dragon, Black Dragon, Collapse Serpent, going to grab Wyvern Burster and Boot Sector Launch. So getting some nice advantage here on the play. I think I did open up one hand trap possibly, but as most of you guys know, Dragon Link is more than capable of playing through a few hand traps. So Chaos Space in the grave activating there, putting back the Collapse Serpent to the bottom of the deck to draw a card. And now we're going to see Dragon's Ravine. So many good extenders here. I think he might have pitched Abso Router for that. I know there is a bit of a glare. He might be sending Abso Router off of that. Again, I do apologize for the glare there at the very top of the screen. But he'll be adding a copy of Rocket Tracer. And also important to note that he's not committed a normal summon yet, so still has that going for him. Probably going to save it for something like Chambermaid to probably grab Tidying, although there's other possible normal summons that he could take here. Now going for Hieratic Seals of the Heavenly Spheres. And White Dragon is going to add Black Dragon yet again. Yes, they are both at 1, but of course Chaos Space doing a fantastic job recycling them. There's that Chamber Dragon made for the normal summon, adding that Tidying. Now we're going to see him link Chambermaid into Elpie. And there it is, World Legacy Guard Dragon. Continuous Monster Reborn, bringing back Chambermaid and linking that into Elpie's partner in crime, Pisty. Now having that arrow scheme set up that he wants to be able to use both Pisty, or Elpie, then Pisty in succession. And I'm going to immediately slap down the Ash. Good for me, I Ash the Elpie. And that's pretty much all I can do at the time. I think I only opened up one form of interruption here. So we'll see how much ashing the Elpie really does. Spoiler alert, probably not too much. But Pisty's still going to be able to bring back that Seifert Dragon that was banished, I believe, for one of the baby dragons. Now linking into Romulus. No effect of Romulus here. And it's interesting to see how much the Dragon Link build has actually changed from the previous times I've played it. I think when I was playing it against in one deck 1 month with Speedroids, I think that back in like October, early November, the combo lines were very different. A lot of emphasis on Romulus and Hulk, of course, but that's when they had Link Cross and everything. So it's cool to see the combo evolve. It does suck to see that it's still very long and drawn out, and it is just like hand trap proof. You can just throw a bunch of hand traps at it and it'll bounce off. No problem. This is one of the decks that Phantasme is very good against. There's an opportunity there to draw 4 when he did have the Pisty Elpie Spheres configuration, which of course is very good. But my problem with Phantasme is it really doesn't do a whole lot, because it's like it's low impact in the sense that you're drawing cards that you hope can interact with your opponent. As opposed to like having a Nibiru, which is immediately going to affect your opponent's plays, or having an Ash or a Bell. Obviously, Phantasme does have its uses outside of just drawing cards. You know, it can protect from Tidying, I believe, because Tidying does target. You know, and Phantasme can stop that. But yeah, I just don't see it being that great. I feel like the only deck that really could play Phantasme is Dragon Link itself, because it's very good in the mirror, and I feel like Dragon Link really only struggles against the mirror, so having a huge heads up in said mirror is very, very strong. So I get started with Cruncher. I do have Derek Crane to chain block, and this is one of the reasons why I'll say it. And I always say is that multiple Derek Crane in the deck I think is very important, for the sole reason of being able to see a level 10 in the hand more often. You don't want your hand being flooded with level 10s, right? They don't do that much for you, but just being able to see it more consistently definitely does help. There's definitely a balance that you want to have. So luckily, the chain block Derek Crane Cruncher play will go through here. He's not going to negate the Derek Crane. So I'll get a Dozer to my hand, but I have very little extenders at this point, so I got to be careful with how I sequence the plays. So Dozer's going to attempt to activate, tributing Cruncher as cost, and see if it can hit the field. My opponent has never played against the deck that I am running, so I do have to do a lot of explaining on what cards do what. So yeah, just saying, you know, tribute this for cost to summon it from the hand. When it hits the board, I can summon one from the deck, but its effects are negated. So we'll see what he's going to do here. Savage Dragon luckily only has one counter. And me forgetting that Savage doesn't negate and destroy, just negates. So I set some back row here, seeing that I really can't do much else with just a defense position Derek Crane and no other extenders in hand. And I'm just going to end my turn there. End phase, he is going to Tidying, targeting his Rocket and my Derek Crane. So yeah, that's, I guess, one spot where I guess Phantasme would be nice, because I believe Phantasme does protect from effects that target, if I am not mistaken. Which I very well could be, but haven't resolved a Phantasme in many months, and rightfully so, because it's not been the greatest hand trap. I know some people think it's amazing, but I just see it as being too low impact, and it's really only decent against Dragon Link, I feel like. And our locals has one Dragon Link player, so you can see why I don't main or side Phantasme this current time. And maybe if I was going to an event, if there were any, you know, I would probably consider it in some capacity, but not at the current moment. But he is going to obviously grab Levianeer. I have strike for it. I've got to strike that, or else I'm going to just get blown out. And after that resolves, I am going to attempt a Trap Trick here. I'm going to go ahead and grab the ICD, the Ice Dragon's Prison, just because, you know, I feel like he's got a lot of dragons in his grave, right? And probably a lot of dragons on his field. So it's probably one of the better traps that I could get at the moment. I don't think I was playing Torrential in this particular list. The list I play the following week on the 27th locals, on March 27th locals. A little different in terms of the trap lineup, and the monster lineup is a little bit different. I actually ended up getting first place in this week's locals, the one I played in yesterday, and I'll be sharing you guys a deck profile and everything with that very soon. And I think I ended up getting 4th place in this locals from the 21st or the 20th locals. And yeah, he's going to go into Apalooza here, which unfortunately for me is not a dragon, so I cannot ICD that, but he is going to go ahead and summon Black Dragon, using Chaos Space to put back White Dragon, sort of keep that continuous loop going, pick up a new card. That Chaos Space is just so good for basically making it seem like one of your best extenders in the deck is not limited. Now he's going to attempt to use Tidying in the graveyard to revive a Dragon Maid. So I see this as a perfect opportunity to go ahead and use Ice Dragon's Prison here, banish the Chambermaid, and banish his Black Dragon Collapse Serpent. There's probably maybe a better time to use that. I'm not entirely sure. I have very little experience against Dragon Link. Again, I only have one Dragon Link player at locals. I very rarely test against it, which I probably should start doing more. I play against very little Dragon Link on the Dueling Book ladder with all the Dueling Book I've been playing. It's just funny that how little I've played against the deck. So in terms of what to stop in certain areas, I am a little rusty, but he is going to go ahead and summon the Red Eyes Wyvern, link that into Striker Dragon. That's going to search Red MD. And that may get put on the board shortly, but he looks like he's going to use Striker Dragon on itself and combo it with Recharger's effect to reborn Savage Dragon from the graveyard. And now me being under Trap Trick, he knows that my other trap card is going to be useless, and he's going to banish some Light and Darks for another Levianeer, and that is just going to be game while I'm only at 6,500. So that's going to do for game 1. We're going to head into game 2, but first, a few ways you guys can support the channel. If you're looking for any TCG accessories, check out Imperium Duelist at the link below. They offer a wide variety of products such as sleeves, deck boxes, dice, binders, apparel, and playmats, including my very own playmat, Blazing Permafrost, which is on sale now. You can get all of these amazing products for 10% off using my discount code WinnerKills10off at checkout and support the channel in the process. And of course, if you guys are buying anything on TCG Player, please do not forget to use the affiliate link I have for their site down in the description below. Helps you guys support the channel for cards that you'd already be buying just by shopping and checking out with that link. So here we are in game 2, and as you can imagine, definitely going to want to go first here. Starting off with that Machina redeployment, pitching Cruncher, and I make a slight mistake here. It was so slight that I didn't even realize it happened until like a few seconds after the fact. I add Citadel instead of another Cruncher, so I could have set up the rank 9 play that you can do just by having either Cruncher and Fortress or just a redeployment in general. So I screwed that up. That's why I had a Harvester in my hand already, so I could have just used the Cruncher that I was supposed to add instead of the Citadel to reveal some level 10s and end on a rank 9 plus a rank 10 and some set traps. So I just have to sort of audible here last second, realizing that I made that slight error. And do the standard combo here with Infinitract, just resolving any Infinitract and resolving Dozer, going for Harvester, or River Stormer rather, detaching the Trencher, adding Bullet Train. So yeah, I could have, if I had done it correctly, adding Fortress and Cruncher off that redeployment, normaled the Cruncher, revealed 2 Derek Crane Bullet, got one of those to hand, and then pitch the Fortress and Harvester to summon back Fortress, go into Ballista, add Box and Trencher, and, do the combo that way. So, but, like I said, we're just audibling here to the standard default combo, and we're adding Box and Tunneler here instead of Box and Trencher, since we already got access to Trencher via Dozer. Now we're going to link Tunneler for the Goliath, summon the Bullet, go for the double-headed Anger Knuckle here, returning 5 to draw 2. 4 going back to the extra deck here, so we're keeping the deck thin to hopefully draw into some more interruptions or extenders here, whatever we need. Pick up 1/2 cards, and we're going to go for that Fortress in hand, pitching that Citadel. So that's where it wasn't so bad that I added those, because at least let me get a body on field and allow me to dump that Citadel to the grave immediately. I think my opponent here was asking what Citadel does and how it works. It can revive itself from grave. If an Earth machine I control, importantly, an Earth machine I control is destroyed by battle or card effect. Not by opponent's battle or card effect, just by card effect or battle, period. An end phase Bullet is going to add back that Harvester. So, as you can see, I still end on a pretty decent combo here, but it definitely could have been leaps and bounds better. Maybe my Enter Blathnir that I was going to summon would have knocked that, what's it called, out of his hand? That Quick Launch out of his hand. Of course, he may have more, because that is basically E-Telly for dragons at 3, but you never know. Could have definitely helped in some way, shape, or form, but after that resolves, I'm going to feel inclined to use Knuckle, get Box out of the hand, and get Bullet onto the field as soon as I am able. For a couple reasons, to make sure I have a good target for my Overdrive, and also just in case any board wipes happen, I can make sure that my Bullet is there to see it, and thus hit the grave that turn, to be able to add back the Box that I pitched, to be able to grab Drill, and set up a really good follow-up for my next turn. But yeah, so just standard Dragon Link plays happening here. I think I might have an Ash in hand, but we're going to see Romulus play here. Or activate, rather, to add Dragon's Ravine, as it does a very good job at activating or grabbing Dragon's Ravine. I think my sets right now are Overdrive and Ice Dragon's Prison, so again, I'm feeling pretty confident. Not only can I get Citadel out of my grave with my own Overdrive, but I can put my Bullet back to the graveyard, and I can also summon a Cruncher from the deck off of Overdrive instead of a Citadel. And I can chain block my Citadel or chain block my Cruncher, however I choose to do it. Get a card in the process. I've got an Ice Dragon, so I'm feeling very, very confident here. And also, having Fortress on field is kind of nice too, because it does act as kind of a deterrent from him targeting it with monster effects, or from him destroying it by battle, because I can use its on-field effect, where if it's destroyed by battle, I can destroy one monster he controls, or I guess it's a graveyard effect at that point. But yeah, Fortress does a decent job as acting like a little roadblock. But now he's going to summon White Dragon, and then banishing the Black Dragon, Chaos Space puts it back to draw another card. Just a very, very convenient engine there for the Dragon Link deck. And now, he's already got Pisty or LP on board, but he's got Pisty too. And I don't think I have Ash for this, but I do have something leaps and bounds better. So I'm going to activate Machina Overdrive here, targeting Bullet. And that is going to allow me to summon a Machina monster from my hand or deck with a different name. And I'm going to target Bullet, summon Cruncher, and now I'm going to go Chainlink 1 Cruncher, Chainlink 2 Citadel. I know some people told me that it might be better to do Chainlink 2 Cruncher, Chainlink 1 Citadel to make sure the Citadel can't get hit with Bell. And I have read your comments. That was before these videos were filmed, so I will take that into account in future games that I play. You know, in case a situation like this where I really need a Citadel to go through, because at this point you can see me resolving Citadel. It's going to be very, very effective, wiping out his Link setup as I just send off my Cruncher, keeping that Citadel on the field. I could have sent off my Citadel and left that 0 defense Cruncher on field as kind of bait to bring the Citadel back. Well, I already used his revival effect, so I guess it wouldn't matter at this point. So might as well keep the big body on the field. And speaking of bait, that's one thing that cards like Bullet and Cruncher do really well. They have really low defense stats. They have 0 for defense. So people a lot of times will just bypass, you know, reading the card or, you know, the consequences of like putting it in the grave. And they'll just see that free 0 defense and just take it immediately. And then you'll get either a Citadel off something or you'll get your Bullet engraved like you want it to be. So he's going to play Boot Sector Launch here. I'm going to use Ice Dragon's Prison, banish his Rocket Tracer as it is a tuner, because I see either, you know, like a Hulk play coming or possibly a Boarload Savage Dragon play coming, which I do not want him to get access to at this point. Again, I could have maybe held that Ice Dragon's Prison, but I just didn't want to take any chances, because again, I am not the most familiar with Dragon Link. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but that's just the way she goes. So he's going to get into Striker Dragon, use World Legacy Guard Dragon to get into Spheres, and he has in quotes the FTK, Tidying Spheres, which most decks sometimes really can't get around. Add back Box, but I don't have a target in deck for Box, so I already have the drill in hand. So that's why I did not use the Box effect there in the end phase, as I just normal drill to summon Box, and I use the level manipulation effect of drill here to go into a rank 8. That's going to be Dingirsu. We're going to trigger the Spheres. We're going to force it out immediately by trying to send it to the graveyard, which this is something I also misplayed on. I just realized this now as I'm recording this. Ding obviously doesn't target when he sends, so I should have been able to send another card he controls to the grave, since I did not get to send his Spheres. So that was a bit of a mistake on my behalf. Just realizing that now. Mistakes do happen, so I will make sure that doesn't happen in the future. That's how things that don't target work. If the card you went to send is not there, you can just send another card, because you still have to, you know, resolve the effect and send a card from the field to the graveyard. He does use Spheres, though, to bounce back Citadel, which is, like, not even an issue for me. I can just use it as discard fodder for Fortress later on in my combo. I'm using Overdrive Engrave now to recycle 3 Earth Machines that are either in my grave and or banished. Shuffle them back in the deck to draw a card. And then I'm going to use the Knuckle here to send Fortress to the grave to revive Bullet, and then send Citadel from my hand to summon back Fortress. Now using Trencher in the grave to summon Harvester. That's going to get me a Search of Tunneler. And now I can sort of try to recycle my engine again and draw into some more interruptions / extenders to try to close out the game. I know he has a Tidying right now, because that's really one of the only threats that a set could be. I could have gone for a Zeus here, but I'd rather just go for an Earth Slicer to try to bait out his back row, if any, and also, set up possibly room for an OTK just by wiping his board completely. So Earth Slicer is going to destroy 2. Now, I do have a Citadel Engrave. So I could, if I wanted to, destroy one of my own monsters to attempt to revive Citadel to set up a rank 10. But he is going to use that Tidying, bounce back his Brotar, and bounce back my Earth Slicer. So I'm like, that's completely fine. But now we're going to use the Dozer in hand to send off that Knuckle. Not using Dozer's effect as I don't need to. Now Stormer sending off that Goliath I just linked into to reattach. And now detaching here for Stormer. And going to search an Earth Machine. And of course I'm going to grab Derek Rain here because the way I see it, his field is wide open. And OTK is definitely in the works here. So we're going to link into a Goliath to trigger Derek Rain. Go into Gustav Max to drop him down to 6k. Go into Lieb, and he knows exactly what's happening there. And Trains or Earth Machines taking the game here in game 2. Not super easily, but, getting the job done. You see how very, very effective that Citadel board wipe was. And that's why I think this deck performs so well against a lot of decks, because some people just can't or don't know how to play around a card like Citadel. And just spring it on them mid-combo. Just they're not expecting a Raigeki to hit the field mid-combo. So it does throw a lot of people off guard. It's kind of like way Prank Kids, I think, is Prank Kids is such a good deck because it can have a Raigeki mid-combo, which some decks can't handle. Getting hand-trapped is one thing, but when you get hit with an Ash or a Bell or something like... Ash and Bell don't destroy the card, so you get to keep your board presence for the most part, but cards like Citadel and Battle Butler, they're like, your field chief, it's gone. You're going to have to try to rebuild from here, and sometimes... rebuilding that field takes a lot more resources than just trying to recover from an Ash or something. That's why I think they're just so effective. Of course, I lost die roll at the start of the match. That means, if I lost the first game, he was going to have a shot at a game 3 to go first and choose to go first. So, do have to sit through a combo here, which is a bit unfortunate. And I think I only have one hand trap here. You know exactly what I'm saving it for. LP. Because I mean, maybe there's a better thing to hand trap. If you only have one Ash against Dragon Link, well, I mean, what are you guys ashing? I'm ashing LP. If I've only got one hand trap, I've only got one chance to interact, considering they don't have cards like Call By or Talents, I'm personally going with the LP. Free special summon of a dragon from the deck seems pretty good. I think, unless there's something I should be ashing, and you guys let me know. Is there something else I should be ashing instead of LP? If I've got one chance at interaction, feel free to let me know. But yeah, of course, there's LP, and linking the other rocket now into Pisty. I'm like, LP, he's like, LP effect. I'm like, nope, absolutely not. But I'll just follow up with Pisty instead to summon one from the grave. It looks like that's Recharger. And going to banish LP for Red MD, which is a huge extender to have right here. Red MD is such a powerful card. And bringing back Rocket Tuner? Rocket Synchron, not Tuner. It is a tuner, but it's called Rocket Synchron. Now synchroing into Savage Dragon. Nice thing here with the Savage Dragon in this combo is it only has one counter on it, or will only ever have one counter on unless he makes Romulus beforehand and gets it to the graveyard. But only having to deal with one counter and a 500 attack boost, if I think Striker Dragon has 1,000 attack, that's not so bad. Them only having access to one Omni Negate from Savage is pretty nice. But that's going to do it for his turn. Just a Savage and a Spheres. Like, on paper, that doesn't seem too bad, am I right? Savage Spheres, that's easy to play through for a deck like Earth Machines. And I do have Dark Ruler no more in my hand, but unfortunately, you may not be able to tell, but I only have 3 cards in my hand right now. So I slap down the Dark Ruler very commandingly. I'm like, and my opponent's starting to sweat at this point. But my hand is triple Dozer Derek Rain. Really would have loved my next draw is Dark Ruler. My next draw after that is Dark Ruler. I guess I didn't shuffle too well. And I guess to give a little more context, the time was running very short here. So I didn't spend too much time shuffling after I sided. I should have taken the time to pile shuffle. I usually do, but sometimes I just don't. If I feel like I want to, not waste a lot of time shuffling, especially going into a game 3 with how the new time rules are. But it is what it is. I'm glad I at least didn't lose that game there to a terrible misplay. It is what it is. Like I sided in Drolls, Lancias, Dark Rulers. Had the side deck for it, but just did not draw any playable hands. So that is going to do it for this feature match. Round 4 feature match going up probably tomorrow. I'm going to try to get this one up today. It'll probably be up a bit late. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's always Winterkill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And last but not least, a huge shout out goes to all of our channel members here on YouTube, and especially our Divine level channel members, and they are Zors, Cadillacs84, and Remtrox H. Thank you guys so much for your continued and very generous support of the channel.